Well, I'm Chris and this is my restoring an old cart video. So these are both going to my new shop. We're not keeping any of the wood. We're going to rebuild our little tops, and I want to have some kind of edge on both of them. This is some kind of, I don't even know what they did. So let's go ahead and get this stuff off. So we took the tops off. You see the support we have here, and we have no support here. And if you take a look at this design right here, you could actually get some boards and sturdy it up. If you wanted to use 1/2 inch, we might do that. Next thing you need to do is inspect your wheels. If your wheels are no good, you might need to just abandon the project. So we have the bottom done. Get some primer on it. This is a rusty metal primer. Hopefully it works. So we have the bottom sandblasted and we got some primer on there. This is where you need to put your color on there and test it out and make sure you like it. I had a last minute decision to go with red, apple red back there. See how sandblasting cleans everything up. Wheels all get sandblasted too. Before, after. I would just use flat black. And then all the hardware. These wheels after sandblasting are perfectly fine, obviously newer, but they have hardware, so we'll paint all the hardware. So the only tools I've been using to clean these up is this angle grinder. That's super dangerous, be careful if you take the guard off, and a sandblaster. That was chrome plated steel, so we just really needed to sandblast that one. This one had a bunch of crappy paint jobs on it. So let's just get an idea, getting rid of that crappy paint. So we have some ugly paint and rust right there. We have some surface rust right here, sandblast it. We cleaned up the rust, go back and prime it. So then we could take some Scotch-Brite. You can use the green kind, doesn't matter. You can use sandpaper if you have to. I just use this, works perfect. You see this old ugly paint, I didn't mess with it. That's because the board goes over it. It's up to you to clean that up. I'm just gonna leave it because you will never see it. But everything that does show, we need to make it look pretty and smooth. So you see how we're rotating them around and around so we don't miss any places with paint or primer, and we get all the rust off of them. Let me go ahead and get these things painted up. So we have about 3 coats on the bottom of both carts. We need to flip them over. So now we're ready for the final paint job. Do one final prep with your Scotch-Brite. Scuff it down. Well, if it needs to be scuffed down. See, this was in the dirt. Always keep in mind what's going to be covered up, or you're just going to be wasting your time. Everything passes the test. We're going to put about 3 or 4 coats on it. So each one is using at least 2 cans of paint. seen some videos where people are using this limp wristed. You have to grab this as tight as you can, and you have to make sure you're spinning off of the edge. If you hit this right here with no guard on it, it can throw this tool at you and cut you up. Very dangerous tool to use, but it gets the job done better than anything. Whenever you're sandblasting and painting this kind of stuff, the edge is super critical. Never forget the edge. Oh yeah, these are for a welding cart I want to make. So we put the first coat heavy on this because this is at the bottom. This doesn't even show. So got the carts painted 100%. This one was left in the sand. So that's what these things are. Got to wipe it down. So let's get some wheels on them. So going through old wheels can be a pain in the butt. We sandblasted and painted these flat black and noticed that all the bearings were stuck. So I had to let them sit in this gas, freed them all up. Every single one of them was stuck. So what that means is when the cart was rolling, it was rolling on the studs. So I soaked them in gas over and over. Wear gloves if you have to. You can hear them spinning. These have a little dust cover right there. Okay, so we want to blow this off with an air compressor and get all the gas off of it. So we're using white lithium grease because it has a little needle to kind of inject it in there. Don't use oil. You're pretty much just wasting your time with oil. Just go through each one. Make sure it's lubricated. Sounds really good. Once you get them lubed up, so crazy. Listen to that wheel. That's awesome. All right, so you have your bearings in there. You can go ahead and give them some white lithium grease or your lubricant of choice. So remember, we didn't paint in there because it's gonna get wood on there, but so far that thing is looking beautiful. So remember earlier when I said check your wheels out? Well, I didn't completely check them out. And when I went to get them ready, I noticed the tires are ripped off of 2 of them. So we can't use these. So I told myself $30 is the most. Went into Northern Tool, took some measurements, and I found, I did not know that these new wheels do not have grease on them. Nice. Yeah, this tire, it's like a little car wheel. Look at that. Just tighten them up snug. Beautiful. These 2 right here are for a future welding cart for my stick welder. It's super heavy. I got this at a swap meet for $20. You know, the guy would not let me walk away from it. He kept bothering me. He was actually following me. He says, you're gonna need this one day. You're gonna need this one day. He didn't want to take it back home with him. So for $20, I got it, but you saw the shape it was in, and it has some super heavy duty wheels. They don't use any bearings, but this cart will very rarely be rolled. So when you do a project like this, the only way to come out on top is when it was worth it. If we were just doing one cart, I think it would have been a better idea to go buy a used one. But since we did 2.5 carts, it was totally worth it. So we transformed something ugly into something beautiful. We're gonna be doing the wood in part 2. We're going to be making some very nice wood trays for top and bottom shelves on both of those, but that's a whole entirely different type of project anyway. But this is the hard part. Figuring your wheels out can be a little bit frustrating. I've had that cart for over 25 years. I've had this one for 15 years. We spent $30 and probably about 5 or 6 hours to get to this point. Totally worth it. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.